Hey everybody, and welcome to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I'm not proud of myself for playing this game, but that's not to necessarily say it's a bad game. I'm just a sucker for trivia and game show games, and they do have a little bit of a reputation for not being so good. There's supposed to be a North American Who Wants to Be a Millionaire special editions coming out on Steam today, but I just couldn't wait long enough, so instead I booked the closest flight and the soonest flight to England, and here I am in jolly old London playing the UK version, not skirting any kind of region restrictions on Steam, heavens no. In any case, we're going to get started here, and basically, I'm just going to try to become a millionaire, and we have a special edition of the game here. I'm going to try to become a millionaire by answering questions about video games, which is basically the closest thing to an ideal job that I could possibly think of. Just answer 15 questions about a video game. It's like, oh, you made, you know, like 25 times the average national salary. I always thought that was kind of a stupid question to begin with, right? Like, who wants to be a millionaire? Like, me? I do? Would you want me to jump through some fucking hoops? That's kind of an obvious question. Who wants to be, you know, rich and handsome and, you know, fly in space like Neil Armstrong? I do. You want me to freaking beg for it? Are you asking a room full of billionaires? What kind of answer are you expecting to this question, who wants to be a millionaire? Anyway, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Special Editions starts with fastest fingers, and it's me competing against myself, so this should be interesting. Put these games in the order of which they were first released. That's got to be Pong, Doom, Street Fighter, Angry Birds, or Street Fighter, Doom, Angry Birds? That's a little tricky. Let's go Street Fighter, Doom, Angry Birds. I mean, obviously, Pong was first, and then this is the tricky one right here. Okay, I am indeed the world's greatest video game trivia maestro. It's kind of, this is an opportunity for me to put my money where my mouth is, right? Because, you know, I handle the trivia on the NLSS, the Northernlion Live Super Show, but I never get a chance to actually answer myself. When I talk a big game, sometimes I'm like, oh, how did you not get that one? I would have known that. Well, we'll see. It's a fairly accurate representation of my oafish self in the chair there. And I have no idea who this is. I believe he's maybe the British host of the TV show, or the host of the British version. Obviously, you know, I would have found it preferable if Regis Philbin was involved in this, but, or at the very least Meredith Vieira, but at least it's not Pamela Wallin. There's a Canadian joke that about 3 people watching this will get. So, in true millionaire fashion, the first, like, 5 or 6 questions here should be super goddamn easy. And we do have lifelines as well. What's that? A game which is very similar to another game might be described as a clone. Do you think you really want a clone? Is that an Alice DJ? I don't know. It's been a while. Anyway, we have lifelines. We have Ask the Audience. That'll work. We have Phone a Friend, where we phone somebody who speaks in Simlish and then just gives us an arbitrary answer. In which ZS Spectrum game did you have to rescue your partner from the city of Antashire? Are you fucking kidding me? I might just bust out, but I'm gonna go Antashire, Ant-Attack. Seems right to me. Okay, thank God. That seemed like kind of a hard question. Man who I assume is named Nigel Lowenbottom. I'm just gonna take a stab at that one. That was the $200 question. That's supposed to be like, who's the lead character in Super Mario? Space Duel and Blasteroids were sequels to which game? I'm gonna suggest that this is probably Asteroids. This is an opportunity. Oh, there is 50-50 as well, which is pretty obvious, but this is an opportunity for you guys to, you know, test your video game knowledge against mine. There's a lot of retro questions in this, and that's been providing me with some difficulties so far. Jesus. In the 1981 game Scramble, which vehicle does the player control? I'm not Jeff Gerstmann. I don't know the answers to half of these questions. I'm going to assume that, you know, you scramble your interceptors, you know, maybe aircraft. Alright, so there we go. We've answered the first 4 or 5 questions. How many is that? That is the first 4 questions, and I have guessed on all but one of them, so hopefully we'll be able to... There we go. Which Super Mario character was in Forbes' wealthiest fictional people being worth 1 billion gold, I guess? The Princess, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, or Mario? I guess it would have to be the Princess, right? Because Donkey Kong, he's got a lot of bananas. He's not crazy rich, though. Oh, but he does have, like, that fortune from Cranky Kong. Mario, you know, he collects some coins, but no big deal. Yoshi's a dinosaur. What's he gonna do? Go to the ATM? He's gonna get shot by some Jurassic Park rangers. Oh, but the treasure trove that Donkey Kong has is entirely full of bananas. So, I don't think, you know, that's not really a liquid net worth unless you leave the bananas for a couple of weeks, in which case you're gonna have to get a cleanup crew. That'll probably exhaust your entire fortune. I'm gonna say Princess Toadstool. Christopher. There we go. I've worked my way through this. I'm talking over, what this guy is saying most of the time, but he has some really weird and incongruent reactions. He'll be like, you know, you'll answer correctly, and he'll go like, that's correct. And normally that would be like, oh, that's a suspense building moment, right? But it tells you when your answer, and at least on those first questions, it tells you when your answer's correct, like, instantly, so you're like, wow, what is wrong with this guy? He's got, like, no social intelligence whatsoever, which is kind of a weird profession for him to find himself in then. Back to the Future, the game starts 1 year after the setting of the first movie. That would be 1986 then. Don't put me on the freaking spot here, you James Bond wannabe, Daniel Craig looking motherfucker. I know Back to the Future well enough to know that it is 1985. And now the game starts to slow down a little bit. There's only 15 questions, and I still have 3 lifelines left. I've already answered like 6. Of course, it's supposed to get a little bit more difficult, but, you know, when you start asking questions about ZX Spectrum games, I don't know how much more obscure you can get. Who appeared and provided the soundtrack for the video game Omicron, the Nomad Soul? Alright, I'm pretty sure it's David Byrne, lead singer of the Talking Heads. I'm just going to go with it. If I get it wrong, we'll just start another one up here. It could be David Bowie, but I'm pretty sure it's David Byrne. Please, don't leave me hanging. What?
I'm sorry, that's the wrong answer.
What do you mean that's the wrong answer? That's what I said. I said it could be David Bowie. You didn't ask me if it was my final answer, Dwayne. That's not really an English name, is it? Alright, well, let's boot back into Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Special Editions here. I love when you lose, and then it's like, here's your score, and then the confetti rains down. It makes it really bittersweet when you get 0, and then the confetti rains down, and you're like, you're a loser. Time to celebrate, and etc. Anyway, we can play the regular edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as well. It's real tough. I'm not sure if it's because this is the UK edition, but the questions seem to get difficult extremely quickly. I remember being like an 11-year-old playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, well, watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That'd be weird. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Kids edition. Anyway, and I usually, you know, I did relatively well for myself by the standards of my own at that time, which is probably relatively less, less stringent than they are now. But the questions in the, like, vanilla version of this game get pretty tricky as you get a little further along. I do kind of feel like, maybe in the video game version, the questions are not really, shuffled properly. I don't know. Maybe I just am completely woefully ignorant about the ZX Spectrum. I don't even really know what it is. I know it's an early video game console. Stop freaking me out with your really thin arms and your really large hands. Alright, fastest finger. This should be the easiest part of this whole thing. Put these words in the order they appear in the title of a successful recent video game. That should be Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows. I call bullshit! This barely counts as a video game question. I understand that there were EA-published Harry Potter video games. So having only won $1,000... By the way, I did have to change it from pounds to euros and then from euros to dollars to get some currency that I'm a little bit familiar with that makes sense in my, North American-centric worldview. But I only got $1,000 last time, so I'm hoping that... please just buy, like, bigger pants, or don't make your belt so tight. You're making me look rather oafish. I'm hoping if we can get to 32,000, I would be thrilled. Of course, if I could become virtual millionaire, I would be a very happy man. But that might not be in the cards for us. Let's see. The one thing I hate about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is that it's so goddamn laborious. I wish they would just give me the rapid-fire questions, but that's not really the game, is it? As in the original movie, who provides the voice of Doc Brown in Back to the Future the game? That would be Christopher Lloyd. Not Martin Estevez or Bruce Willis or Weird Spaceman George Clooney. We'll move on to question 2. They're pretty quick in the early aspects of the game here. I guess what I learned on that last run is that if I'm gonna die, or if I don't know the answer, not to make it sound overly grandiose, I should probably, this is Civilization. They should have just called the game History. I wonder if Firaxis ever went through that when they were coming up with the title for the game. We should just call this what it is. It's history, sort of. Alternate History would have been a good name for an RTS, maybe. Who does Mark Hamill voice in Batman Anything, the Joker? These are more reasonable questions. But, these are the kind of questions where, because they're in the video game special edition, they can show up for $300. But if this was, like, Vanilla Millionaire, I'm pretty sure these would be, like, $16,000 questions. Which of these games could be played on the original iPods? Shit, man. We're going to ask the audience on this one. I didn't own an original iPod. I'm going to assume that it's probably a game called Columns, but I don't know what Columns is. It could also be Lingo. I don't know. I assume it's not Swipe, because that's just like what you do to unlock iOS interfaces these days. And I'm assuming it's not Solitaire, because the screen was kind of small on the original iPods. It is. It's Solitaire. So I'm a dummy. I hope that the population watching this is reputable, and apparently they indeed are. So there goes my Ask the Audience. And one more question will put us at this first kind of threshold for success here. At least we'll equal our last score. Classic Sid Meier game from 1987. That would be Sid Meier's Pirates. I've never actually played it, but there was another Sid Meier's Pirates game that came out in like 2003 or something like that. Alright, so we've reached the first threshold, and now the game does reach this kind of like exhaustive, laborious part where, you know, there's 100 years between when I answer and when he actually... I thought that was the worst part of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, is toying with people's emotions. And you're just like, Regis, come on, man, you're gonna give this guy a heart attack just sitting here. He's probably up there in the chair, and he's like, oh, do I look fat? I really should have started working out. I never thought I would get the fastest fingers right. And then... you know, he answers like a question to win $2,000, which is, Regis probably makes that in like 3 blinks of an eye, and Regis is gonna give him goddamn like a conniption here. Anyway, the Rune Factory games are spin-off from what other popular video game series? I don't know. Rune Factory. I mean, obviously it sounds like World of Warcraft, but it also sounds like super Japanese, so I think it might be Bubble Bobble. I don't know. I'm gonna use Phone a Friend here, and I'm gonna shut up when we phone this guy, because he has the greatest voice in video game history. Also, I understand that I'm an idiot. I'm phoning him. Here we go.
Your friend.
Alright, so maybe it's Harvest Moon. This is something I probably should have known. What I'm getting at here is that these questions are actually pretty tricky for this point in the game, you know? Maybe we will do one vanilla run after this. But I wanted you to test your video game knowledge against mine. It's totally possible that you are doing substantially better than I am at this point. We still have 50-50. Probably the worst lifeline. Although I guess it gets a little bit better as you get later into the game.
You don't have to play.
In what war was 1992's Wolfenstein 3D set? That is a question that is so much easier than the questions that preceded it. At least for people of my age group. Or any age group. I mean, it's obviously not set during the Gulf War. It's obviously not set during the Vietnam War. You fight like Vietnamese Hitler. No. The Crimean War, you could probably be pretty confident that, you know, again, it's not Crimean Hitler, but, you know, a lot of people might not know what the Crimean War is. Who provides the voice of Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War? Okay. These are all, like, baseball player names, like, slightly changed. Billy Bonds, Darren Strawberry, Mikey Mantle, John DiMaggio. The one that sounds the most realistic to me is John DiMaggio, but I'm going to use 50-50 here. I really have no idea what it is. Don't talk to your computer like it's a living thing. Computer, please take these 2 things away. No, guy using the computer, take the 2... Okay, I'm going to go with John DiMaggio. I don't know anything about game voice actors. Please. Thank God. Don't leave me hanging here. So that's going to take us to what, 8,000? That's really bad because I need to answer 2 questions correctly with 0 lifelines in order to get to that 32,000 threshold. Not to mention, you know, 7 questions correctly without any lifelines to get to 1 million, which is very unlikely. Which of these occupations is available to players in Fable 2? Well, I mean, I could just walk away. Quite frankly, it seems like, I would not expect a carpenter just because Fable 2 came out on the original Xbox. I wouldn't expect you to be able to, like, saw boards and stuff like that. I kind of expect that it would be totally possible to make weapons. But blacksmith or silversmith, you know, those are difficult choices here. I think it might be a shepherd. You can go around and, like, keep sheep in the pens. That's easy enough to do in a character action game, right? Like a third-person walking simulator. If I couldn't do this, I probably would have gone with blacksmith. Oh, it's incorrect. What's the answer? Is it silversmith? Is the game trying to be cute? Oh, it's blacksmith. Alright, I'm an idiot. Let's do a quick run of the vanilla version of the game. This is not a traditional Let's Look At, and that should be pretty obvious by the branding on the video, but it is worth noting you can pick this up on Steam. If you are in the UK, you can pick this up on Steam for sure. The new version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Special Editions is supposedly coming to North America. Might even be out by the time that I'm recording this video, but it was not out, you know, at the traditional time when its release date was when Steam updates games. So we're just going to play traditional Millionaire here. Why don't I change? I'll be the yellow man instead of the green man. I have no idea what this changes. I don't think we actually, like, change our character, character model. I think it's just, you know, you can play this with the local multiplayer mode as well. This is also out on PSN and Xbox Live Arcade as well, if you're into that sort of thing. Kind of reminds me of 1v100, or 1 versus 100. I was a huge fan of that, and obviously, you know, that's one of those games that everyone kind of gets nostalgic about when they talk about it. But, you know, I like game show games. I like trivia games. This hits the right spot for me. It's $10. Let's do fastest fingers here. We're not competing against anybody, which makes this easy enough. Put the regions where people traditionally live in order from north to south. Okay. Oh, no. Take it back. I wanted... Oh. Okay, well, I mean, I think it's Inuit, Bulgar, Maori, and then I would have put the Maasai somewhere in there, maybe, like, last. I know that... Oh, God. Not last, sorry. I would have put them in second, I think. So, I'm really bad. Do I still get called up? Or do we do another fastest fingers here? Yeah, I still get called up, so I don't deserve any credit for that one. I knew Inuit was first. I just, obviously, I just didn't click on it first because I'm a dummy. So let's see if I can actually make something better happen for myself here. Clearly, I don't know anything about video games, and you've had that proven firsthand here. And then we'll see if we can make something happen with respect to vanilla trivia instead. I wish this dude would stop talking. David Higginbottoms, I'm not ready. Or I'm totally ready. I'm not ready for your bullshit is what I'm not ready for. Question 1. How long is my dick? That was the perfect face for that. What is the art of designing buildings called? I'm pretty sure that's engraving, Christopher. I can't think of any more stereotypically British names. I apologize if you're watching this out there and you are, you know, English. I'm not apologizing because you're English. I'm apologizing because I'm offensive. No apology necessary for the other part. Which of these wild cats has stripes? A leopard can't change his spots. Cheetah can't change his spots. A lion doesn't have anything. It's a tiger, yo.
That's the right answer.
There are serious holes in my knowledge of common sense, and this will probably become apparent pretty soon. There will be some questions that I'll get wrong or have to use a lifeline on. You'll be like, how did you not know that? Kangaroo and emu must be on the coat of arms for Australia. I would be very surprised if it was Armenia or Andorra. This is fine so far. This guy looks so bored to be here. Mom, can I leave the set of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire yet? This is your game. 2009 comedy film starring Sacha Baron Cohen. That will be Bruno. These are so much easier than the video game questions. Who designed the sound effects for the ZX Spectrum game Space Fuckers? Like, I have no idea.
That you could win nothing at all.
This is much easier questions related to pop culture here. Oh, shit. According to the New Testament, to whom did St. Paul write 2 epistles? Well, I'm gonna ask the audience on this one. I have literally no idea. And if I can rely on a middle-aged audience to do anything, it'll probably be recount their memories of Bible study and Sunday school when they were younger. So please fill in this gap in my knowledge, please. Any second now, this will be done. A. St. Timothy. I probably would have not gone with St. Timothy, so that was a very smart use of a lifeline, I'd have to say. Have we reached the first threshold then? We have indeed, okay. So at the very least, I'm not going to do any worse than I've done before. But I would love to at least hit 32,000 so that I could, you know, go home with a little bit of pocket money as opposed to... I mean, 1,000 is not a little bit of money, of course, but it's always disappointing when you go on the show and you win literally 0.1% of what is possible. At least if we get 32,000, I can, you know, buy a car or something with that and quell the pain. Complete the title of the 2008 single by the Kaiser Chiefs. Never miss a... Shit, man. It's not I Predict a Riot. I'm gonna guess that it's probably Never Miss a Beat, but I'm gonna phone my friend. It's David Byrne, lead singer of the Kaiser Chiefs, who did not write the soundtrack for Omicron. David Byrne did write a soundtrack for some game that never came out, though. Alright, so this guy, I'm gonna hang up on him. Can I do that? No. That would be cool, though, if I just, like, phoned him and was like, hey, fuck you! Or phoned him and was like, hey, I just wanted to... Yep, Never Miss a Beat. I just wanted to tell you I'm about to win $1 million, Dad. Seriously? Like, thank you. Obviously, but I just phoned the editor-in-chief of the NME. I know that the Kaiser Chiefs song is. And now we're down to 1 lifeline again. For a second, it looked like my dude didn't have any arms. I was kind of freaked out about that. Alright, nose man. The nose knows what I don't knows. Mostly because he's got the answers in front of him. Who was the central character in 1984? That would be Winston Smith. And again, traditional Who Wants to Be a Millionaire potpourri. You you know, mixing 2008 Kaiser Chiefs songs with one of the most classic novels of our generation. Well, not our generation, I guess. Of the modern era, to some extent. I don't know anything about literature. Let's just move onwards. You think this thing's got a Pentium in it? They've been using it since like 1998.
Have a good look.
In which car did Jensen Button win the 2009 F1 World Drivers title? Shit, man. I'm gonna guess that it's probably not Ferrari. Does Ferrari? Yeah, Ferrari makes F1 cars, I think. Again, this is a pretty good example of some stereotypical Englishisms. F1, not insanely popular on this side of the Atlantic Ocean. I'm gonna say Williams. They also make pinball machines, so... Serious. Ah, I'm an idiot. Okay. Well, now that I've completely botched and ruined any reputation that I might have for being an intellectual individual, let's end this right here. This is just Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. There will be a link in the video description to pick this up on Steam, assuming that it is out by the time the video comes out. I hope you enjoyed this little trip down trivia lane, and thankfully, I'm assuming that a lot of you out there are probably smarter than myself. I came in first place, Mom. Look at the confetti. Yeah, there will be a link in the video description to pick this up on Steam if you're interested. It should be out in North America by the time this video goes up. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to click the like button. It helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. Weird one-off videos where I end up insulting myself and an entire population of people who are quite nice and also have delicious deep-fried fish and French fries. And, of course, I look forward to reading your comments about how stupid and silly I am. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time.